If you're going to be a nomad in Southeast Asia and you're wondering what to pack, stick around for this video because we're going to show you what to bring so you're prepared for this.
But first, caffeination. Whew, that's hot. Ooh. Okay, we got the coffee. Now we're good to go. So as you can see by the metric ton of stuff behind me here on the bed, top 10 travel items for digital nomads is not as simple as it sounds. Most of the things behind me I use every single day. So to condense down only 10 travel items would be missing a lot. Missing pretty much everything for that matter. So today I've broken this down into 10 kits for you guys. So you guys are going to be getting a lot more value today than just 10 simple items. There are 10 individual different kits of things laid out here on the bed, and I'm going to go through all of them with you, show you exactly what we carry along with us, the most important and essential items that we found ourselves using on a daily basis ever since we started becoming digital nomads. So if you're getting ready to pack to start a new digital nomad life, or you're preparing to go long-term traveling like we were, and you're wondering what to pack and what to leave behind, then this top 10 kit list is going to be essential and very helpful for you. So stick around to the end and I'm going to show you every single thing in this mess of a kit behind me, why I chose everything I did, and why we consider pretty much all of them essential as long-term traveling digital nomads. I'm going to show you guys this mess in chronological order. We are going to start on the top left, work our way down, move to the next row and the next row, and go through everything in it, and by the end you should be able to pack like a professional. I hope. And if for some reason by the end of this video you're not packing like a professional digital nomad, then I have failed you as a human and you will likely have a backpack full of useless garbage. Hopefully that's not the case though, because all this stuff's really good. Anyways, let's jump in. The 10 different kits that I'll be breaking down here today are as follows. We have an electronics kit, electronic storage and space saving kit, waterproofing kit, scam theft protection kit, first aid kit, kitchen kit, phone kit, utility items kit, and convenience items kit. Some of that may not make sense now, but it will in a minute, so let's get into this. Coffee's starting to kick in, I'm getting the sweats. Why I drink coffee when it's like 40 degrees outside is beyond me. We like the caffeine! First thing on the list over here is a good laptop. If you're coming over here and you only have a cell phone, and your cell phone breaks or gets full of water or someone steals it, you're screwed. You have no way to get into all your different devices. And there's so many two-factor authentications on everything now, you pretty much need 10 devices just to sign in everything, because one thing will sign in and the other one will sign out, and one will detect you're in a different country and all of a sudden you're locked out of everything, which has happened to me more times than I care to count. So having a good laptop to go with your cell phone or some sort of iPad or tablet is a great idea. Next is a hefty battery bank. These ones are 40,000 mAh, which is quite hefty. We get a few charges of a cell phone on one of these. We can also use them to power our laptops if we need to, or iPads. Use it to charge our camera batteries and all of our equipment. They're awesome to have. I recommend at least one each. And also the universal adapter. These things are wonderful and not very expensive. As you can see, they've got plugs for literally anywhere in the world. Wonderful little piece of kit. And an extension cord. This is one thing we find ourselves using every cafe we go to, every place we have to plug our computers in. We always need an extension cord, and very rarely will you go to a place that has one to offer. Bring an extension cord because you'll use it a lot. And also, most every item that we have in this kit here today, I will have linked down below in the description box. So should you decide you would like to buy some of these things to prep for your trip, and you use our links, we will receive a small commission, which really helps support us, helps the channel, and helps us keep putting out content and doing what we love. So thank you very much for your support. On to the next kit. Next is the storage for electronics. One of these camera backpacks with all of these little individual compartments are absolutely wonderful. This is one of the best things I bought as a digital nomad, especially if you're over here with camera gear like we are. By the time you stuff your camera and your lens and your GoPro accessories and your gimbal and a drone and the controller and the batteries and yada yada yada, it's an endless shitload of stuff that you'll have to carry around. And every single one of those things when bought has its own fancy bells and whistles packaging with all the frilly shit on it that you don't need. Basically a lot of weight that you got to carry around on your back, and it's a royal pain in the ass. You end up having to carry around this, and this, and a whole bunch of other gizmos and gadgets that mean nothing. These are all empty, by the way. They're completely useless because everything fits right here in the electronics backpack. This delightful electronics backpack also fits my laptop cover. Another essential item. This is a padded laptop case. Very thin, very cheap. You can get it at Best Buy, most stores that sell computer stuff. Also on Amazon. Make sure they have padded foam in them. I was walking down the path the other day and I have a very pricey video editing laptop and I dropped it on the ground on the corner. The laptop should have been destroyed and I should have been very sad and crying. But this thing saved its life. A cheap little padded computer thing. I keep a slice of cardboard inside my computer pad because the cardboard is a little tiny bit bigger than my laptop. So when it hit the ground, the foam in the case and the cardboard actually protected the corner of my laptop so much that when I dropped it on the concrete, zero damage. No scratches, no bumps, nothing warped, everything is perfect. So this thing literally saved my laptop. It was like the best 20 or 30 bucks I've ever spent. And a great item to put inside of this electronics backpack and your laptop case, air tags. Put them everywhere. Everywhere. Put them in your underwear if you got to, just put them everywhere. One thing I forgot to mention I love about these electronics backpacks, this one in particular, all the individual spacing is Velcro. So you can mix and match and move it around however you want. If you have one of those big old friggin' wildlife cameras with a Hubble telescope sized lens that takes up the whole backpack, you can pull out all these center compartments where your other parts and gadgets go and let your lens go all the way down the middle. It is quite the lovely piece of kit, and it's also stated to be waterproof. This one is anyway. I'm not going to link this one because I haven't test trialed it yet. I didn't buy this one on Amazon, it came from Temu. But I don't want to link anything that I haven't test trialed, because if it ends up being a piece of crap, well, I don't want to tell you guys to go buy it. But you definitely want to get one like it. Something waterproof, and you still want to put a splash cover on it obviously, because nothing is truly waterproof when it has a zipper in my opinion. But great piece of kit. It eliminates having to carry around all of that stuff when it all just fits in one bag. And for convenience and space saving, you definitely want to get a compression stuff sack. It's good for all your clothes and squishy items and towels and things like that. You stuff it all in here just like a sleeping bag, squat it down, pull these little straps on the bottom tight, and it becomes about half its size depending on how much you put in there. So it gets all the air out, it saves you a whole bunch of room in your suitcase. Kit number 3, the waterproofing kit, one of my favorites, because I've got caught in the rain so many times I'm surprised I haven't drowned yet. Simple cell phone waterproof case. You want to test these out. They all state waterproof, they're not all waterproof. This particular one I got is a Sinkwire brand name. I tested it out at home myself. I put a piece of tissue paper inside, just some toilet tissue, sealed it, submerged it in water in the sink, and I left it all day. And then I came back and opened it up to see was the tissue wet. Don't test it with your cell phone obviously, because if it leaks, well, your phone's dead. So stick some bum wad in there, a little bit of toilet paper, and then if it leaks, you will know. I tested ours and neither one of them leaked, not a drop. So we've used these in waterfalls, swimming, even used them in the ocean. Now I don't recommend using them a lot in the salt water because it is thin plastic and salt water tends to break down everything eventually. Next is some sort of waterproof case for your batteries, especially if you're carrying a nice high-end camera, even if you have like an Insta camera or a GoPro camera, something to keep your batteries in with a seal. This one has a rubber seal. I'm gonna link an even better one in the description below. The one in the description is the one I wanted, but I couldn't get it over here, so I had to buy this one at a local store, but it gets the job done. Next is the dry bag. Always have a dry bag, especially if you're going out doing these boat tours and sea-doo runs. Sometimes people mess up, and sometimes boats don't do boat stuff. If you got all your stuff in a sealed bag, you can roll it over and clip it tight, and it'll actually float. So then not only will you not get your stuff wet, it won't sink either. Next is some sort of a rain poncho. Just a plain pullover, cheap rubber coat. You can buy little thin plastic ones at the convenience stores for $1 or $2. This is just a rubber one I bought for $7 or $8. It's not very expensive. But you definitely want to have one and stick it in your bike if you're scootering around, because when it starts to rain in the jungle, you don't usually get much warning. It's like, oh, it's gonna rain outside, splash. And then it's raining cats and dogs in your swimming hole. Next is a waterproof cover for your backpack. Inside this, it's basically just a big garbage bag that's supposed to shear the water off of your backpack. So even if you have a waterproof or non-waterproof backpack, it's great to throw one of these over it. Because when you get torrential downpours and your backpack material gets worn, it's gonna leak. Here's what it looks like on a backpack. This is our traveling backpacks. Mountain Warehouse backpacks are the ones we're using. And this is the Mountain Warehouse cover that came with our pack. Luckily it's detachable, so we use these on whichever backpack we happen to have with us that day. I want to just take a quick second in this video to thank everybody that watched the last video and reached out to us with kind messages and so many donations, helping us buy more animal food and products to help all these animals that we find on a daily basis over here. We put out the last video. Unfortunately, it didn't do as good as we hoped because the video was 40 animals. And it was to bring as much awareness as we could and hopefully raise some donations to help us afford to buy more food and more supplies to help us help them. And we had so many people reach out to us, even total strangers, and send us donations thanking us for what we were doing and helping us do more. So I want to take a second just to recognize everybody that reached out to us and helped us feed all these mouths, And we'll put some clips in here from all the happy pups and happy cats that you guys helped feed this week. So thanks a lot for that. And if you want to check out our last video and see what it is we spend a lot of our time doing over here on these trips, it's not always funny videos and reviews and seeing tourist attractions. We spend a lot of our time out helping animals. So if you would like to help support our cause and help us do more for these animals, down below in the top of the description box there will be a link for Buy Me a Coffee, which I am calling Buy Me a Bone, and there's also a direct EMT there as well. So if anyone would like to send a donation to support the channel and help us be able to afford to do more things for these animals are in rough shape. They are starving, they are dying, they're malnourished, most of them haven't got fresh drinking water, and they are in severe need of help. So we do what we can, we're just two people, but we're trying to spread awareness and feed as many as we can. And if we raise enough money and then we can afford to do more, like buying flea treatments and maybe try to get some rescued, the ones that are really bad, we're gonna do what we can. So we thank you in advance. Let's get back to the video. Next is also one of my favorites, your security kit to protect your stuff, because people will steal the eyes out of your head. And the first thing on that list is a way to hide your money, as you can see by my delightful fanny pack. What fanny pack, you might ask? Completely invisible from both sides and the front. If you look, it doesn't look like I'm wearing anything. There ain't no fanny pack. But just inside the shorts, look at this convenient little item. You can put all your cash and your bills in here, and anything super important, like your passport or anything that you don't want to be potentially found or yanked out of your hands while you're walking down the street if some thief comes along on a bike and tries to grab your stuff. I don't want the fanny pack up here where everybody can see it or dangling off my hip bouncing around like this. I tuck this thing down inside my shorts and nobody knows it's there. And chances are nobody's going down my drawers looking for money. And if they do, they're gonna have a lot bigger problems than finding my money. Or a lot smaller problems. And if you get any of those not so honest officers that decide to do a little search and wonder how much money you got, when you have this, you can't see it. So you just, oh, I have nothing, empty your pockets. But all your money is down by your parts. Because if for some reason somebody happens to pull the shirt up, oh look, there's all your money. Nobody's going looking in your pants. I wouldn't go looking in anybody's pants for money. Chances are nobody's going looking in your pants. So if it fits underneath the waist belt of your pants and it's concealed and you can't see it, well then you can just hide the money pouch in your shorts and nobody knows you even got it on you. It's great. Next thing in the security kit is an RFID blocking wallet or purse, which I will have also linked down below in the description. This is to protect your credit cards or anything that has a chip that can be scanned by scammers who walk by you and skim across you as they pass. That's how easy it is to skim cards these days. So having one of these little RFID wallets or purses, you don't have to worry about somebody walking by and skimming your card information and all of a sudden you sign in and you are broke. Don't do that one. Next is extra suitcase locks. I don't know how many times I lose these little things, and by I mean Rebecca. These things disappear on a regular basis. When we came over here, we put one on every zipper of every bag we had. I don't know how many we went through so far, but they disappear very quickly. Rebecca. But anyways, little key lock ones or combination lock ones, I definitely recommend bringing extra, not just the ones on your bag. And on the theme of locks, the bike lock, the combination. I mentioned this in a previous video, but this is an essential piece of kit if you're renting a bike. Because if the bike gets stolen, you are on the hook for that bike. And if you rent a $5,000 or $6,000 bike and somebody steals it, guess who's fronting the bill? Don't do that. Just bring a lock. Make it difficult to steal. Just like your girlfriend or boyfriend. If you don't want anyone to steal them, you just put a lock on. Don't do that. Coffee break. Oh yeah, we're good. Next is the most important kit on the entire list. Above everything else, your first aid kit and the supplies in it. Don't go traveling without a first aid kit. This is one of the most common items we use, especially when boo-boos happen. Like this boo-boo. It happens. The first aid kit gets used on a regular basis. I'm not gonna go through everything that I put in there, like band-aids and gauze and everything else. Everyone's first aid kit's gonna be different. But there is a few extra things that I put in there for emergencies. I always carry a lighter. I don't smoke, but I always carry a lighter. This is useful for more ways than you could ever imagine. Also, a whistle, which I did mention in a previous video. The reason I mentioned this again is because this should be in your first aid kit for a plethora of different reasons. Next is one that most people probably won't need, but is an essential item for us. Over here in the tropics, because it's so warm and the humidity is so high quite often, there's something in the atmosphere called barometric pressure. basically what that does is for people that suffer from migraine headaches, when the pressure goes up, the headaches tend to come on, and they come on tenfold. Rebecca is prone to migraine headaches and has been for years. So this thing is an essential item for her. This is a headache helmet. Allow me to demonstrate. When my hair is freshly shaved, it's like Velcro and I almost break my neck trying to put this thing on. Look how delightful it looks. I'm like a little ghetto smurf. But anyway, this is an essential piece of kit for Rebecca. It's made of kind of like a neoprene gel. You just put it in the freezer, it gets really chilly, she puts it on her head, and it gives compression, which helps with the headache, and it also keeps her head cold, which helps tame down the blood flow a little bit. So this is something she uses all the time, because headaches come on quite often when the pressure is high. For example, just last night we had a big thunderstorm, and about an hour before the rain started, Rebecca said, I feel the headache coming on. And sure enough, within the hour, the thunder and lightning and the rain started, and she was in the bed the entire rest of the night with a splitting migraine. And as soon as the thunderstorm stopped and everything passed, she woke up this morning, perfect, no more headache. Funny how that works. Last thing in the first aid kit, which is essential and really nice to have, especially if you're an adventure type person and you're hiking where you're gonna need a lot of water, but maybe you can't bring enough and you're gonna have to be reliant on stopping to streams and ponds and potentially stagnant water along the way. If you don't have access to boil your water, but you can find a pretty clear stream or lake, aquatabs. These things are made to purify water. I won't go into the details of exactly how they work, but it is pretty simple. You basically add them to the water, shake it up, wait for it to do its job. If you're more curious on them, there are lots of videos on YouTube about these, but they are excellent. So keep them in your first aid kit, and they're very cheap. Next, this little kit here is the most used kit of all the kits, which is the kitchen kit. Now the one I'm about to show you is not exactly what I recommend bringing. The reason I'm showing you this kit is because this is what we have right now and we're working with what we have. If I had my time back before I came over here, I would have took some of my lightweight cooking gear and camping supplies like forks and knives, titanium stuff that's really strong, really light, and easy to pack away in a bag. I didn't have that stuff with us when we came over because we had to prioritize on some other things, which I'll show you a little later in the video. I would bring a lightweight fork, spoon, knife. The camping style ones, they're a little smaller, and like I said, titanium, they're super strong, they're really light. Check them out down below. Next is something to cook on. I didn't buy this guy on Amazon because I bought it since being in Southeast Asia, and I don't have access to Amazon over here. This one I bought on Temu, but I will link pretty much the exact same one from Amazon for you guys to check out if you want one. This thing weighs nothing, maybe a pound. It's about 8 inches square, 8 across by 8, less than 3 inches deep. It's probably more like 2 inches deep, it's not very much. If you're not sure exactly how deep 2 inches is, just ask your ex. We also take a couple of lightweight, medium-sized plate/bowls. It's not quite as flat as a plate, but it's not as round as a bowl, so I can put cereal in it or just use it as a plate. We usually just buy these when we get over here. You don't really need to carry it around with you, but if you are like us and try to cook at home a lot instead of eating out every day, it's really nice to have stuff like this so you don't have to be using paper plates and styrofoam and adding to the garbage and litter problem, and we use it every day. Another thing I wish I brought was my lightweight titanium frying pan, very small with a foldable handle. Because I didn't bring that, I had to go to a place that sold kitchen supplies and buy an actual frying pan, which was extremely cheap. It was like $6 or $7, but the handle isn't collapsible, which means I have to find a way to fit all this in the suitcase, which is another pain in my rear end. This little stainless steel cup, however, we have one each. They're very thin stainless, very lightweight. It doubles as a large coffee cup, but as you can see in this clip here, I can fit 8 eggs inside of this little cup, which is my whole breakfast. So to be able to cook my breakfast all in one shot in this little pot and also have a coffee cup, it's a multi-purpose item. And I also steam vegetables in there, which is great. This next one's the cell phone kit, and the reason I call it a kit is because there's a few essential cell phone parts that you should bring with you that will save you some headache. And also if you're traveling and you want to get nice pictures and videos and you happen to have a newer cell phone, this phone I use here is an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's not the newest one, but it's pretty close, and it definitely does the job. It takes amazing video and pictures. And the piece of kit I put on it is this phone case, which has a magnetic cover around the camera lenses. The brand name is Freewell. And the reason I went with this Freewell case is because it is compatible with the Freewell Sherpa ND filter, which is this nice packaged little unit. Show you guys here. Oops, if I can actually hold it open. So this is the ND filter. It's a 67mm magnetic ND filter with the cover. Just pull the cover off here and try not to get fingerprints all over it. I'll show you how this works. Look how cool this is. So this little magnetic square fits a magnetic square on the back. So you can just slide that around until it lines up, and now you have an ND filter, and it's variable. So you can adjust it, light and dark. See, you can't see through it, and now you can. How cool that is. So if you're not familiar with ND filters, I'm not going to go into that because I am not a photographer and I'm definitely not a professional videographer. But basically what it is sunglasses for your camera. And this has allowed me to get some amazing shots and a very, very inexpensive piece of kit. So freewheel phone case, freewheel Sherpa, variable ND filter. 1 to 5 stops. 100% recommend if you're taking pictures outside in bright lighting conditions, you're gonna want this, and then your pictures don't get all washed out white when it's a really bright sky, so definite recommend. And the last thing for the cell phone is this very high-end toothpick. What a delightful item. Not just for picking your teeth. And this is not a joke. I actually keep a few toothpicks in my little RFID wallet, and the reason for that is because every time you go to a new country, you gotta get a new SIM card. And unless you go into a phone company and have them do the whole process for you, taking the card out and putting in a new one, they have the tool. But if you forget to bring your little cell phone SIM card removal tool with you, it is a pain in the ass trying to find something so small and so tiny to fit in the little hole in the side of your cell phone to get that SIM card out. It's not worth the headache. So I get these really sharp, stiff little toothpicks and I just keep a few in there, and then if I ever gotta pop my SIM card out, I got my own little makeshift SIM card removal tool. But you can get the actual SIM card removal tools down below. But it is a great multi-purpose item in case you gotta, get the chicken out and fix your cell phone at the same time. Next kit is the utility items. This is something that does not leave my hip. A good fanny pack. I tried to link this one for you guys, but they don't make this exact one anymore. But any large durable fanny pack will do the trick. Lots of pockets, lots of pouches. And the reason I have this stuff in here is I always keep a notepad and pen with me because sometimes emergencies happen and you need to write crap down. Also, it's a great place to hold a drink or a roll of toilet paper because a lot of places don't have toilet paper over here, which is not nice. It also fits my waterproof phone case, so I can wrap this around my waist or put it on the front handlebars of the bike, and then if I'm driving down the road and it starts to rain, I got quick access to my waterproof phone case. All my gizmos and gadgets are all tucked away in here and protected. And if you notice dangling off the side, my ball cap. Attached by another item that I've mentioned in previous videos, the plastic lightweight carabiner. Not for climbing. This is strictly for attaching lightweight items. I keep 10 of these with me and I put them on every bag, and they are constantly used because you can hook on your sandals, you can hook on your cap, your drink, your water bottle, any type of accessory, you can just attach it to the carabiner, and it's so convenient. Even going to the grocery store when we come out, sometimes we don't have enough places to hang the bags, and I hook the carabiners around the grocery bags and just clip them onto the bike everywhere. It works great. And then of course the paracord. An item that I will always preach because I use it for the clothesline and fixing stuff, fixing backpack straps and everything like that. Just keep it with you. And the last two things here are probably not going to be for everyone. Depends on how handy you are. This is a steel credit card sized utility tool. Has a bottle opener in here. A few of these little slot cutouts are different sizes for nuts and bolts, and there's a pick on the end. There's a can opener there. There's a whole bunch of little gadgets built into this steel credit card. You would not believe how many times this have got me out of a jam. Whether it's issues with a bike and I managed to engineer a way to fix it with this. You can do a lot with this little steel credit card, believe me, it is quite handy. And next is a multi-tool. As you can see, this one's got everything. There's a pair of pliers, it's got a saw, different screwdrivers, a small knife, a bottle opener, can opener, and the most important part, the little one for popping the stopper off your cold beers. So don't forget that. This is not going to be for everyone. Main reason is because in some countries you are not allowed to carry a knife of any kind on your person. Even if it is a utility like this that actually serves many purposes. Just because it has a little blade on it, in some countries you are not allowed to carry it. We just leave it in the suitcase in the hotel room because then we're not carrying it and it's fine. But don't go walking around with it, because if you get in trouble or something happens, you get in an accident and all of a sudden they check you out and you got a knife sticking out of your pocket, it's probably not going to go good for you. Which leads me to something that some of the guys that may be handymen or mechanically inclined, this is something you may want to think about having with you if you are touring around over here on a bike and you're putting in some miles. Most motorcycle and rental companies don't have roadside assistance, and they will only come rescue you if you're within a certain parameter of their shop. So if you happen to be out touring around an island, for example, like we are here, and you're outside the perimeter of where they will come get you, you may have to call some sort of a tow or a recovery, which could cost you God knows how much. So to have a couple of tools on you and a little bit of knowledge, it may get you out of a jam. Just for example, a couple of days ago, one of the mirrors on our bike came loose. The screw wasn't really tight. So I used my little steel credit card size multi-tool to tighten the bolts on the mirror. So then I would actually have both mirrors instead of driving down the road with one flapping in the wind like this. I do like to keep a couple of small tools on the bike. I got a tiny little itsy bitsy freaking screwdriver kit. It's got a few sockets, a few screw bits, a few Allen keys, most of the basic things that you would need to work on a scooter. It's just a cheap quality, no brand name. I just bought it at a local hardware store just to have it in the bike in case you get in a jam, and then I can likely fix it and get me back on the road. Also, 2 of these little adjustable crescent wrenches. I paid like $2 each for them at the local hardware store. Both of it only weighs about a pound or so, but I keep that and this little set of Allen key wrenches on me in the bike. That way if anything happens, like my mirror comes loose driving down the road, and I can't have my multi-tool with me because it has a knife on it, at least I have a couple of actual tools that I can fix the problem with, and it doesn't take up much space. But again, those items are probably only going to be if you're mechanically inclined or you're a handyman or woman. For everybody else, you don't need to worry about that stuff. And while we're on the topic of motorcycles, headband. Yes, you might think I look like I'm from a biker gang or something, but I am not. I brought this with me from home because I ride a motorcycle back in Canada. This is wonderful to have, because you can actually wash the sweat out of it. It is so hot over here with a black helmet on, you sweat in seconds and the helmet gets absolutely rancid. I brought my own helmet with me and I don't want to completely destroy it with sweat stink. And if you rent a helmet, which usually comes with most of the bikes you rent, everyone else's head has been sweating in that for years and they're freaking disgusting as well. But at least with the bandana, I can put that on, and at the end of the day, when it's all sweaty and gross, I can bring it home, throw it in the sink with some laundry detergent, wash it, and now my helmet doesn't get absolutely disgusting. So, I would definitely bring a bandana if you're going to be doing a lot of scooting around. And the most important thing for a bike, day glasses, tinted, night glasses, not tinted. Not plain sunglasses. If you've ever spent any time on a motorcycle and you've drove down a highway and took a rock or a bee in the face, you will understand why I say wear safety glasses on the bike and not sunglasses. If a pebble ever comes off the back of a truck and you're doing 60, 80, 100 kilometers an hour, you are going blind. If a bee hits you in the face, in the eye at that speed, you are going blind. So, these are safety glasses. They look like sunglasses, but they are... You can buckle them, flex them, they're solid, you can drop them. I've stepped on these and they don't break. They're designed to take an impact. And the reason for the clear ones is because at night it's even worse. When pebbles and rocks and bees hit you in the face, you can't see them coming. You don't even get a chance to move your head. It's just you're driving along and all of a sudden splash in the face. Yes, they might look a little bit funny, but I'm not blind. So 2 pairs of glasses, one for day, one for night. And last but not least, the convenience items kit. The things that you're not going to be able to find over here, and the small things that are nice to have if you have room to bring them. First is the water wicking towel. This is a full-size, large towel, believe it or not. See how big it is compared to my hand. It is not very big. It's just a microfiber water wicking towel, and it's in this little case which has perforated holes on both sides. So you can just hang it on the bag after while you're walking home or driving home, and the wind will blow through it and dry your towel. And because it's microfiber, it's so thin, you hang it out on the clothesline outside and it's dry in no time. Way better than a regular towel, and it takes up a fraction of the space. To give you an idea, look how big it is compared to a stick of deodorant. And that's a large towel. As opposed to this large towel. This takes up way more space than this little guy. Water wicking towel for the win. Rebecca loves these. They're little mini soap, conditioner, shampoo bottles. And they're rubber. They're squishy. They're actually pretty durable. I still keep them inside of a Ziploc bag because anything rubber, you know, there's a pretty good chance it can break if it falls off the plane, which happens to luggage all the time. You can get kits of these with like 3 and 4 or 5 different bottles in them, and most of the time they're less than 100 mils each, which means they're travel size. Like this little one, for example, is only 80 mils. So you can actually take this in your carry-on legally because it's under the 100 mil liquids and gels rule. And the 2 items that we can never seem to find: deodorant and tampons. And if you remember earlier in the video when I mentioned there was a few things we left behind, like our kitchen kit from back in Canada, because we had to make room for other items. These are the items I was talking about. Rebecca's metric ton of tampons. How many tampons, you ask?
And we've already used 3/4 of them. So take all this and double it and then half again.
If you found this list helpful, especially the tampon segment, that was a lot of work. I've never swam in a pool with tampons before. I'm not saying it's my proudest moment. But if you got value from this video, please hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Damn tampons. We'll see you in the next one. And if you'd like to know more about what we do to help these animals and to what extent of the amount of animals we're finding over here that need help, check out this video. It's a hard watch. I have a disclaimer in there in case there's some things that you have a hard time watching and you want to skip by, that's fine. But leaving a like and subscribe or a comment on the video will help YouTube show it to more people, and hopefully people that can watch it and maybe are willing to donate to help. It's really appreciated. And the animals thank you, not just us. We are the ones finding them and feeding them, but without your guys' help, we can only do so much. So for everyone that donates and has already donated, from the bottom of our hearts, from Rebecca and I, thank you very much. The animals thank you more, I promise. Their faces light up quite a bit when a total stranger shows up with a bag of food and a bottle of fresh water. So it's something. It's really something.